Welcome, everyone, to Contemporary Issue Sunday School class. We are happy to have you here today and our speaker, Jeff Klaus. Many of you probably know Jeff from around the church, the many things that he does. Attorney, long-distance cyclist, and chair of our church council, which is the highest governance committee of St. Andrew. Oversees everything else, the staff, the budgets, everything. So we are looking forward to Jeff telling us today about a special cycling trip coast to coast that he is going to be taking, and just tell us for about 20 minutes on that, and then about 20 minutes or 25 for church council issues. Tell us some of the goals that we're doing and what you do as chair. We'd like to know too, as our supreme leader of the church. Yes. But before we do that, very quickly, announcements. Zoomers, nice to have you here. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. And we are recording this for future playback. And any other announcements? Frank Atwood is having a potluck at his house at Frank and Maureen's on 7/17 this coming Friday. Yes.
Surprise.
Very good.
The logic is Maureen gets me to vacuum the house.
After,
It's a reason for you to vacuum and clean up the house. So that's always good. So if you'd like more information, there's address and things here that and Frank can give it to you. But it's a fun thing.
that's what I was
to do
thinking.
for
I've been to
fellowship.
one of those.
Briefly, things in the news this week. There was a good bipartisan success story this week about a housing bill that was passed, and the president did not sign it. And but it was still passed into law anyway because of such bipartisan support. So that was good to hear that affordable housing initiatives proceeded. Don't hear too many success stories coming out of Congress. And then today about Lindsey Graham, the leader of the Senate, died unexpectedly. Lindsey Graham, a major Trump supporter from South Carolina. Yeah, in case some of you didn't see it this morning, maybe a heart attack or something. And so there's question on what that means for someone to be appointed for that position. Plus the Mitch McConnell still in the hospital, another leader of the Republican leader of the Senate. So lots of things going on there. They're all getting old, as Aaron said. Aren't we all?
It's a one-way street.
It's a one-way street, Jefferson. That's right. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, I want to introduce Jeff quickly with a bio and want to welcome Charlotte to his wife. Where's Charlotte? Are you here? There you are, this fellow bicyclist and wife. Jeff was born on July the 4th in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah,
In Ames, I knew
Ames, right.
some of you all would,
2 weeks ago.
So did Keith.
and so did Keith. Very good.
He thought I was stayed alone.
So you get fireworks for your birthday.
Fireworks for, it's all for Jeff on the 4th of July.
You guys didn't know that, but
Yes.
Go Cyclones.
And so he started out there, came to Boulder and got his undergraduate degree. Then Drake University Law School, where he graduated with honors. He was editor of the Law Review. And then practiced business and personal law until he retired recently. So he's a retired and recovering attorney. Yeah,
retired but not recovered.
but not recovered yet. Okay.
You was it online?
And he
Yeah.
has presented in our class on the Supreme Court and other issues and led the Journeys class
Yeah.
For many years here. And this trip that he is going to do, he's going to tell us about this amazing trip. He's done 20 or so adventure trips like this, including across Iowa.
Yeah, no,
Bison.
I'll tell more
Okay.
about that. So, yeah.
And just basically, he's going to go 45 days with a group that is raising money for a homeless charity. He's going to go from California to St. Augustine, Florida, and dip their bicycle wheels in both oceans.
Both oceans.
Yeah.
Dipped the rear tire in the Pacific Ocean and the front tire in the Atlantic.
Okay. And so we want to hear a little bit more about this and then about church council too. So will you take questions during your presentation?
Yeah, if you want to
Okay.
raise hands, especially during church council stuff, we're gonna just do a high level talk about kind of what it's like to be, I don't have the microphone, so people can't hear me. but
There you go. Go for it.
I'll just go ahead and get started.
You go.
So I am gonna split up the time and try to do it a little justice to both. The first topic though is one that's kind of near and dear to me. And after listening to the sermon this morning, I was thinking, oh, this is definitely one of the ways that I sort of self-identify myself is through a lot of my biking activities. I've done them for years and years. And if you want to put the first slide up there on the screen,
Okay.
I actually got started doing big bike rides from my parents back in Iowa. And there's a ride there that goes across the state. Yep, it's called the Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa, Ragbray. And the tradition with that ride is you dip your rear tire in the Missouri River, and then when you bike across the entire state over a course of a week, you dip your front tire in the Mississippi River. And it's a week-long bike ride. And I've done, as Steve was alluding to, over 20 different week-long or multi-day rides over my adult lifetime, including getting involved here in Colorado. Stay on the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, Ride the Rockies. And that's kind of been a big part of my life for the last 10 years. And these are the logos of all of the rides that I've done on Ride the Rockies from start to finish. And each one of those is anywhere from 350 to 500 miles. And we go different routes around the state of Colorado. And it's just been a fabulous way to see the state and have relationships with people. Along my journey doing Ride the Rockies, I hooked up with a group of men that, and now women, we have a large group actually of bikers that formed a team called Team Samaritan. And you can go ahead and go to the next slide. And yeah, there we go. And that's our logo. And you can see us all in our team jerseys on various bike rides that we've done. And the kind of the purpose of having this team is not only the camaraderie, but to make our biking also serve a philanthropic purpose, something that we all feel good about doing and asking other people to support us. And so over the years, I've raised money for the Samaritan House homeless shelters, which is operated here in Denver, and they have actually multiple locations, and you've probably heard of them. They are operated by Catholic Charities, but they are devoted to a non-denominational charity. They provide not only homeless shelters and food for homeless people here in Denver and throughout Colorado, but they also have a whole array of other services that they provide to help, for example, homeless mothers with children, making sure the children still have school and have other services they need. Yeah, go ahead and flip on that one. And they also provide a whole array of services to get people back into permanent housing and to try to find jobs and job placement so that they're not remaining in their situation where they're dependent on charities. But this slide here will give you a magnitude or an idea of the magnitude of the problem in our country. And, Colorado's no exception. I mean, these just show you the number of people that are all in need of some kind of services. And it's just staggering to me that in our country, we would have this many people that are in need of the services from private organizations, and let alone our government trying to fill in. But this is a situation where we have a private organization that's stepping up and doing this. It's not dependent on tax dollars or any of those contributions from the government. but it's solely relying on people like me that help do fundraising for them. And we've raised, our Team Samaritan House has already raised over $1 million just through our cycling events. And we have a team captain who has just been super motivated to grow our team, not only to men that like to ride these rides, but women. We also have a running club. Any of you that are interested in joining a biking or running club, I can hook you up with that. But if you know the history of Ride the Rockies, it's kind of been a gem of Colorado, a great event to see the state. But next slide, or that one, I guess. The one back, I guess we went too far.
Okay,
One more.
go back.
Well, maybe right this one.
2, 4.
Yeah,
There you
so I was talking about this a little bit, that this is more stuff about what Samaritan House does. It provides on an annual basis 225,000 nights of shelter, over 500,000 meals, all the different services that I think I mentioned most of these. It's really been, everything I've learned about it has been positive, and I'm unwavering on wanting to be able to support the team. And it's added a whole nother dimension to the cycling we've done. And Ride the Rockies has always been our kind of a keystone event where we raise money during that. And we almost always have as many as 50 to 100 riders all wearing those jerseys out on the course together, which is really very inspiring and kind of fun to do. But Ride the Rockies ended in 2024, and that was the last year that got 86th. And so that year was canceled, and we were left without our premier event to raise money and to do things. Now we raise money at other events and do other riding, but our team captain decided that he wanted to do something even bigger. And so then he came up with the idea of riding across the USA, the whole America. And as Steve mentioned, we're going to start in San Diego, California, and ride just under 3,000 miles through Arizona, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, all the way to St. Augustine, Florida. And we're going to be doing emotional stops along the way, and some homeless shelters along the way, and promotion of any of our sponsors. But we're also looking for other sponsors, people like you and me, to contribute and to support the riders. And so I'm going to be giving you a little link or a QR code and ask you if you would support me in this effort. I'm our kind of the Methodist representative on this team. So that's been kind of fun. Let's go ahead to one more. So this is part of our marketing materials there. We're riding thousands of miles to change thousands of lives is our slogan. And we're going to have 11 riders. One of them, which is really special for me, is I've been able to get my daughter, Sarah, in a position where she's free during this summer and this fall, and she'll be able to start this ride on October 5th and do this entire ride with me. So that'll not only be with a group of guys that I know real well and have ridden thousands of miles with already, but I'll get to do this with Sarah. And so that's making it a very special event for me. Let's go ahead to the next one. So that's give you a graphic of some of the statistics that we'll be doing. 2,941 miles, 45 days of riding. So that's a lot of back-to-back days. And that averages out to 68 miles each day that we'll have to cover. And some days will be much higher, like 100 miles. And then there'll be other days that'll be much shorter. And one of the statistics that's most frightening to me on that chart is the vertical feet. Exactly. And so we'll be doing over this 45 days, 79,000 feet up. And so that's a lot of climbing, Frank.
What is 1,000 feet equivalent to in miles for effort?
Well, I don't know what, if you break that down to watts or some kind of physics thing, but I'll tell you, yeah, going up is harder than going down. And those the vertical feet each day and the vertical feet that you do per mile tells you how difficult that day is. And so the days that we'll do a lot of vertical in a short amount of time are going to be just the days that we're going to finish this ride, God willing, and get up the next day to ride again. I'm trying to think of does anyone know Deer Creek Canyon?
Yes.
So if you start at Wadsworth, next to Chatfield, and drive up to the top of Deer Creek Canyon, and that's 9 miles, and that's 2,000 feet elevation. And so that's a hard ride. That's what I would consider a ride I would do, training ride when I'm in better shape and ready to do that. It usually takes me about an hour to do that ride, those 9 miles.
Wow. How many hours a day will you average on most days? Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's gonna vary. Longer days, of course, will be longer. What our goal is to average over the entire ride between 12 and 13 miles per hour moving speed. And so you can do the math then, that's about, then 12 miles per hour. If you're doing
8 hours a day?
Yeah, could be well, it's probably not gonna be that many. If you're doing, let's say, 5 hours, that's 60 miles.
Okay. Mhm.
And so
Will your bottom be sore?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
question, and that usually isn't a big problem for me. It will probably on this kind of a ride because there's so many days.
Yeah.
We use various kind of butt butter to not put it mildly, and that's one of the favorite terms of stuff we have, and I use that when I'm riding anything more than 50 miles in a day, and we'll be going through tubs of that stuff.
So do you camp at night?
Okay, good question. We're going to be a fully supported ride. Most of us are a little longer in the tooth than we were when we did this. We're going to be staying in hotels and
Showers good.
shower good, nice bed. We'll be eating in restaurants or at meals at some of the homeless shelters we'll visit. We'll be interfacing with some other Catholic organizations and other religious organizations along the way, so we may have some meals there. But we'll also have a van and a trailer. So we will have people on the road with us throughout the day that will be able to stop and get us water, especially in those godforsaken places in East Texas where there's nothing there. So I'm hoping that we get have no problems that way.
Are you riding on roads or are you riding off road
On roads, so it'll be all paved.
with police escorts?
Oh, no. It'll just be the 11 of us, plus there's a rider that is paid to ride with us, who's a very accomplished rider, who has a little first aid training and a little medical training. We will probably break naturally into sort of 3 groups. A fast group, a medium group, and a slow group, and we'll regroup with each other along the route when the van is there to give us snacks and water and that kind of thing. So it's very fully supported. And we'll be wearing our jerseys and we'll be trying to interact with people along the way and hope maybe have some experiences that way. In fact, we have a mission statement for our group. We have a goal that we want to raise $1 million doing this. But I also think we need to have a vibe for our ride. And I recently watched a documentary about some Australian bike riders who rode across from Oklahoma to California, retracing the steps of the Okies leaving Oklahoma during the Dust Bowl. And they called their ride the Bikes of Wrath. And if you want to watch an interesting documentary, watch this. And these guys were sort of a ragtag group. They weren't really bikers, and they kind of stitched together their event. And so I feel like we're going to be much more well-oiled machine cycling down the road, but I want to have the same vibe that these guys did, where they met people and talked to people about the Dust Bowl and what it meant to help your neighbor. And we want to do the same thing, to talk about homelessness and talk about what it means to help your neighbor and who's your neighbor, just like the story of our namesake, the Good Samaritan story. So we really have a big, go ahead.
Sorry, Norley and then
Question
Tom.
for you. Are there people who will be doing portions of the ride, and is there a portion of people who will be doing this for a few days?
The original goal and expectation was that we would all be doing all of it. But we really didn't have, it was a little bit of an effort to fill out the dance card and get 11 people signed up. And then we had someone, for reasons that beyond their control, had to drop out. And so there's going to be 2 filling in for that person, and one's going to do the first half of the ride, and the other one is going to take over somewhere in Texas and do the second half of the ride. And kind of, again, lucky thing for me, I was helping recruit people or talk people into doing this. And so in addition to my daughter, half of the ride is being done by my daughter's father-in-law. So, and he and I have done Ragbray together, and we 2 years ago rode across Oregon together on a bike packing trip where we were totally self-contained, totally the opposite of this, where we had to carry all our water and gear across nothing but sagebrush rangeland in Oregon. But, yeah.
Do they, in this little trailer that's following you, do they have anybody who will fix your bikes? Pump the tire,
Yeah.
if the chain falls off, you could.
Yeah, we can do quite a bit of those basic things, like re-putting the chain on, or if the chain breaks down, we usually have a chain tool with us that we could put it back together. I hardly ever had a chain break, but flat tires are a very common occurrence. And so we all carry CO2 cartridges and extra tubes and pumps. We will have this rider that I mentioned that's part of the group. There's a company that just runs these tours every year for bike enthusiasts. So, I mean, more people than you might think actually bike across the country. It's still probably a very small percentage of people, but every year there's groups doing it.
I think Tom had a question too. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Jane.
I was wondering, how do you prepare for this nutritionally?
Okay, that's a good question. And there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. I mean, and the number one thing that we're doing is we are biking a lot. And so right now I'm in actual training mode. Although I bike a lot, I bike 12 months of the year. So, and a normal year for me is at least 2,000 to 3,000 years of miles of biking. So I usually do that. For the last 20 years, I've biked 2,000 plus miles per year. And so we're doing a lot of biking, and we want to get to the point where we're biking probably 300 to 500 miles a week by early September, and then we're gonna scale back down. And during the course of riding, on a ride like this, you want to take in as many calories as you can.
Help it.
And so we'll be eating
Roadkill?
the way, you're not choosing. But we will eat normal meals, you know, at breakfast and dinner, and usually a lot of stuff. For me, I like to have oatmeal with a lot of things in it, nuts, seeds, brown sugar, raisins, cranberries, a lot of other things packed in there, or eggs, or hard boiled eggs or scrambled eggs. Pancakes are always good with extra syrup. So we eat pretty hearty, big meal in the morning, and then we'll be eating throughout the day. We'll have bars with us. How are we doing time-wise?
Okay, a few more minutes.
Charlotte's always keeping track of me, no matter what.
Okay.
Where I'm at, she's like, do this, do.
Hey, quick question. I'll bet you don't use an electric bike, do you?
No electric bike on this ride. But I am not opposed to electric bikes. Anyone that would benefit or get out biking more because of electric bike, I think go for it. We see more and more of them around, and when we go traveling, we always try to make biking part of our activities somewhere, and we'll rent electric bikes. Or, yeah, they're a lot of fun. And if you're touring around Europe or wherever it is, electric bike is just a great way to see sights of a city or a countryside or little islands, and then you're not tired at the end of the day, and you can still go out and do some more touring and go out and check out the restaurants and things there. So
It's opened it up for a lot of people.
it does. And back to the nutrition side too, though, we'll be eating using primary supplement that I use is stuff that supplements electrolytes for your body, so that when you're staying hydrated, you have to drink a lot of water and take in a lot of the electrolytes and sodiums and potassium and things in your system so that you can absorb and use the water. And you have to keep that at a good balance.
What type would that be that you take for those electrolytes?
Gatorade.
And Gatorade works fine. I'm not a disciple of any one of them. There's a brand called The Feed that I've kind of been using recently, and they're a big promoter of the Tour de France, and you see their ads on the Tour de France broadcast a lot. So that's one I'm probably going to look into.
But no performance enhancing hard drugs.
No. So any other questions? Did you put on that last? Yeah, there's the QR code. You could scan that today. And I have extra copies of the QR code that I can pass out to you. But to make this super easy and so you can't avoid it, Steve is going to email the entire group with just a link that you can click on. So when you get home, and if you prefer do things like that on your laptop or your phone, it's really easy. I have a personal donation page at our website. It gives a little information about why I'm doing the ride. And then you can click down there and there's some amounts, or you can do any amount you want. We certainly welcome 5 figures and above. But
About $1 per mile.
$1 per mile is a very popular thing, and that works out to
$3,000.
$3,000. So if you like that idea, I like you. I wanted to leave enough time, or how are we doing?
We're doing good, but let's switch over.
We could switch over. And I'm happy to talk about this more. I mean, who doesn't like to talk about their hobbies and their vacations and things? So it's not the kind of vacation everybody would like to do, but it's been something that's been very fulfilling for me over the years to have done, seeing so many places off the seat of my bicycles.
That's really cool. Okay. Tell us what you do on church council.
Okay, well, I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit, of course, but as Steve mentioned, church council is the highest kind of governance body set forth in the Book of Discipline for a Methodist church. And we have a lot of other very important boards here too. And I think one of the key things I wanted to mention and just kind of drive home here is that St. Andrew is a big church. We are a big organization with a lot of members, a big budget, a big building with all the facilities and maintenance that goes along with this. And so really our organizational structure is pretty sophisticated. I don't want to say complicated, but that may be fair. It's so church council has kind of evolved over the years into its role. I wanted to share with you some of the vision and mission and values. And this kind of, I think, and what Rev Mark has pushed and some of the leadership over the past couple of years as to be the primary role of church council is to be very involved in forming our values and missions and articulating those, and then holding the rest of the organization at least accountable to be moving in the same direction as those values. You've probably seen this, it's in the bulletin stuff, a vision of bringing more love, justice, and community into the world. It seems very basic, but there's a lot in that, and that takes a lot for us to do that. And our mission is to love God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbors as ourselves. That's a very scripturally based mission, and I think that it does well to sum up really where we're coming from. And from that, we've also articulated some values here. And this was done over the course of years with feedback from the congregation. And the values that we have currently put up forward to state there are belonging, connected community, innovation, service and justice, and scriptural growth. Spiritual growth. And so that's actually a better statement than just scriptural. But so those things are touchstones that I think we church council always want to come back to. And I think that I have another slide. The next one maybe is an org chart. Yeah. So that kind of looks complicated too. But this gives you a graphic of kind of all of the organizational pieces here at St. Andrew. We put the mission and vision at the very center of that. And you can see church council over in the kind of lower right hand. And our relationship kind of forms a little bit of a hub right there with the subcommittees, some of our role-specific coordination with different staff and with the congregation and church congregational advisory council. And so I like to think of the church council kind of as the hub of a wheel over there, making sure that all of the other areas are kind of in alignment with each other. Mm-hmm. Now, because of the complication or the complexity of a church our size, the committees we have are very detailed and need to have, highly skilled or particular people in them that have the skills and the experience to be able to carry out some of those things. And those committees include, finance committee, our legacy stewardship committee, which is now changing its name to, if I get this right, growth and giving. Keith helped us put that in the right order. I can't remember what it was. Do you remember that,
I
Keith?
think it was growth and giving.
Growth and giving.
Spiritual growth first, and then that leads you to giving and support.
Yeah, so that's going to be renamed. You won't hear the terms legacy and stewardship anymore. You'll probably be hearing more growth and giving as a combined combined group. SPRC, which is the Staff Parish Relations Committee, and really fulfills a HR function, and not of a kind of a at an operational level, but at making sure that all staff have the resources they need, that they're all fulfilling what they need to do, filling vacancies when those come up, and just generally managing the human relations side, which is a key thing here at St. Andrew, being a church of our size and with our reach and budget. We operationally are driven very much by our staff. Our staff carry out a lot of operational things, everything from a lot of the ministry programs to the things with the market, and to the Children's Learning Center, and also just the facilities to keep this place operational. But
Just a quick comment that Jeff told me that he's met with each of the committee chairs also. So in his role as chair of the council. So that gives all the committee and directors a chance to talk to our supreme leader, separate from Rev Mark. If they don't have any, if they are uncomfortable sharing something with Rev Mark for some reason, they do have another outlet to be able to share with Jeff as the top lay leader of the church. I thought that was good.
yeah,
It's the yellow. We can't read back here.
it says strategic direction. And so those two boxes there, executive clergy and church council, kind of really represent maybe the core of leadership. Our executive clergy is Rev Mark has a wonderful vision for our church. He's a good leader. He is, I think, a very strategic thinker, and he, of course, influences church council about where he wants to lead the church, just as he does influence the whole congregation from the pulpit every Sunday. And church council influences back to him. Same, so that's that connection right there in the center of the chart. Question?
Jeff, I'm interested to know what there are term limits for the chair of the church council, and what kind of skill set are people encouraged to have that are interested in that position?
There is a lay leadership committee that recruits people, and if you're interested on serving on any of the committees, it should be easy to get in touch with them. If not, if you have any issues, you can let me know. We try to rotate through. The normal term on church council is 2 years, and you rotate off. I did a 2-year at-large term, and then Rev Mark asked me if I would chair it, and so I'm kind of on for a 3rd year, and we now have a co-chair. So that co-chair will take over, or not co-chair, but maybe a vice chair, a better word. The vice chair will take over next year, and the woman that's vice chair this year is Brooke Woody. If you don't know her, really dynamic, younger than most of the rest of the people on church council. And so qualifications, experience in the church, involvement in the church. Typically people that get, asked to serve or want to serve have some skills that may be useful. I fairly good at running a meeting, which is probably about the number one skill for church council is making sure we don't spend too much time doing anything, one thing, or getting into the weeds too far. Um, um, the other committees, though, really do require very specific skills and backgrounds. So, for example, if you're on our finance committee, we really do want people that have a finance or accounting background that understand spreadsheets and financial statements and can drill down into that in a very detailed way. Same thing with staff parish. That committee usually has people that have been involved in management or HR or have been people that supervise other people in their careers. And so, and just one further point, that those committees are really where a lot of the heavy lifting happens in terms of keeping the church going on a functional basis day to day. The church council is more of a weather vane, and we're trying to keep us a compass, keep us on track, and make sure that all the areas are in alignment with each other.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about committees, is there a missions committee? And my second part, of my question is, do you have input in terms of what missions the church decides to follow?
Well,
Undertake.
by mission, do you mean the mission statement?
No, I mean,
And those values that were up there?
outreach is what I'm talking about.
Okay, well,
Missions committee. I was on the missions committee in my last church.
okay, we do not have a committee now that's entitled missions. And mission committee is one that's not in the book of discipline. So that would be something ad hoc and, or, you know, maybe temporary here. We would put together a committee to, you know, explore different missions or opportunities.
Maybe outreach is a better term.
Yeah, and well, we have outreach as a pastoral ministry in the church, and those, I think, evolve with opportunities and with the interests and passions of clergy and individuals. That's kind of how the market started.
And do you have input in terms of what we do in terms?
Yeah, those
For outreach.
yeah, when those things come up, church council would be at the center of kind of approving going forward with those kind of activities.
Okay.
You know, especially if it's a change in direction or bringing something new. And this slide right here is a very good one of some of the work we've done on not necessarily, well, maybe you could call these each a mission, but we wanted to come up with a group of strategic initiatives. And can't really see it now.
Yeah, hang on just a second.
The over the past couple of years, church council and subcommittees of church council spent a lot of time and effort coming up with these 5 vision initiatives.
Would you read those for the?
Yeah.
folks?
Yeah, I'd be happy to read them out, and I want to kind of report back a little bit about the progress because we've really been doing a lot of moving forward with these things. First one is well-being, and that's again finding ways to address the physical, mental, and emotional, spiritual, social needs of individuals, both within the congregation specifically, but in our greater community here. And we've done a lot. You may have recognized the name Allison Magnuson. She was the chair of church council just before me. She is now leading up that group and working with clergy and their listening bench. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
In the things, so that's one of their things. They've been having tables out at the various church events, the picnics and gatherings, and you'll see more and more activities where they're creating resources for people to meet those needs, identify those needs and meet them. The next group over is small groups, and this is a huge, big push by church council is to grow our small groups. We have a number of women's groups and men's covenants groups, and we want to increase the number of those. You've heard of the new grow groups. Some of you have been in grow groups, I know, and those are a new version of a covenant group. It's with people meeting together in homes and sharing spiritual or fellowship and a meal usually. We hired a part-time director of small groups, Tricia Arthur, and she is working. Her sole mission is to develop these groups, recruit people in the groups, get them launched, help them have the resources they need, and help them continue to flourish. And so the first little batch of those grow groups just wrapped up, and most of those groups are continuing on a permanent basis, and we're going to be recruiting. And so if anyone's interested in a grow group, you may already be in. I know most of the people in here are in some kinds of group already, but if you're interested in that, that's something to look into, because everyone has really enjoyed it and got a lot of it. Our fearless leader here in this class has been the host of a grow group, so maybe you can mention about that experience. Satellite congregations and community-based satellites, and I'm going to talk about those two together. But like the Eagle Vale church up there is an example of a satellite congregation. You've probably heard a lot about that at the church if you watch the spotlights. They use our sermons in their Sunday morning service, and they have now a pastor who's doing more of the pastoral care and other functions. And so he's freed up from having to prepare and deliver a sermon each week to be, the parish pastor. And we're looking for other opportunities to do that. We have a little church we've identified in Montana that is doing the same kind of thing, and we're hoping to interact with them some more.
Is that Jerry's group house? Is that Jerry's church?
No, but that may become, Jerry will be able to meet their needs, but this is a really tiny church in the middle of nowhere. But obviously, with Jerry up at Lakeside Church in Montana, we'll be able to interact, I'm sure, with them some way. And hopefully, some of our resources may be useful to them. One example of ways that these work together is we would like to develop some small group opportunities between our satellite congregations or satellite communities. And satellite community is an example of that. Is we have a huge number of people that are living at Windcrest that attend St. Andrew.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people gather together there at Windcrest to watch Rev Mark and the sermon here, or listen to the music, or they travel here together to come to events. And we're trying to get small group opportunities for those folks to interact with each other at Windcrest as a part of the subgroup of Windcrest. There's part of the St. Andrew community. And so we're looking for other opportunities to have communities like that. And it may be other retirement type communities, or it may be something completely else. You saw one of the values we have is innovation. One of the mottos I think that Rev Mark has promoted is that it's not what got us here isn't going to get us there. And so we have to completely be open to innovation and creativity to move beyond what we've always been doing and find new ways of doing it. I kind of tongue in cheek sometimes say one of the big things holding churches back, or our church back, is the fact that we're a church. If you think about that a minute, you know what the demographics are changing. People are attending churches less all around the country, all around the world. More and more people, I think we even had a book, didn't you do a book review about the unchurched and more of the nuns?
Yeah, non-birds.
Yeah.
5 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm glad you moved on to this one. So this is some of the tasks related to our strategic agenda that we've been doing. And you can see we've checked off doing a lot of different things over the past year and a half. We've got the new strategic vision and values, those are in place. Visioning, resource, and well-being are ongoing. I should probably check well-being as up and running. We have a church advisory council now, which is a group of people that meet ad hoc to just act as a focus group for new ideas. Most recently, Tricia Arthur with the small groups took a lot of her ideas and what she's been doing to that advisory council. Church council structure has changed a little bit. Church council is almost entirely composed just of the board chairs of all of the other committees. We used to have a few at-large members. We don't have those, and we're spending more time now on our visioning and making sure that we're on track with keeping all of the groups moving in the same direction. Church management system, we've rolled that out. You've seen the new logos and some of the signage we have. We now have full-time building security during most of the hours, business hours here at the church. Small groups, I mentioned that. We now also have a development officer here.
Who's sitting in the back row?
Oh, very good. There she is. Stand up, Carla. Yes, and so we're expecting big things from Carla, and she, no pressure, no pressure. Put you in the spotlight, and so it's really exciting to see all these different areas develop. And one of the things I've been trying to do in my little way is meet with people and introduce them, or make sure they're already talking amongst each other. And we really do have a lot of open paths of communication, so it's not a hard sell to get different areas working together. You'll see over in this far left column, I'm just going to focus on the one right there, online community. We have a huge amount of people that are now watching us one way or the other, and we're really thinking that there's some opportunity in that, and we're wanting to get all of the different groups from Carla's domain to Trisha small groups, our new pastor, and media and music to try to figure out ways to reach out and interact with our online community and make them more of a part of St. Andrew, make their experience more fulfilling for them, more spiritual growth for them, and also, more of a contributing part of the congregation.
They need to zoom into our class here,
Yes.
I think.
Well, that would be an awesome thing if we could have 100 Zoomers watching this
I think
class.
so. Out of our 3,000, we should be able to do that.
And, we probably don't know, but how many people watch this class on YouTube?
Maybe
But those are other opportunities.
10 or 12 probably, yeah.
So it's just a real snapshot of kind of what's going on from my perspective at church council. It's always an exciting time to be here. We're going through a lot of the problems churches of our size do, because we have a big budget, and our operational budget is dependent sometimes on periodic giving, not our ordinary pledges. So those big pledges that go into stewardship get then used out over time. We've called some of those an accelerated ministry fund, where we're supporting our regular annual budget with money that's come from this accelerated ministry budget or ministry funds. But those funds, you never know if they're going to be replenished or not. You never know when the next big gift is coming or not. And so we would like to keep growing the pledges and the contributions from online community and wherever else we can do that, so that we can have that. So we're on a very sustainable, not periodic type budget. The one thing I'll mention, and I know Keith is going to ask a question about the budget, but is Mike Ratliff used to be the youth leader here. I don't know if you remember him. He had a Baptist background, and years ago I was on his staff parish liaison when I was on staff parish committee, and he would always complain whenever there was any kind of budget shortfall that we would cut staff or cut programs. We're in a wonderful position now where we don't have to do that. But he would say, well, Methodists, they just cut programs when the budget's tight, they fire people, they shut down the building. Baptists, we go buy more buses. And so hopefully what we're doing right now is buying a few more buses.
Good.
Well, a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
We are out of time, but let's give Keith the last question
Yeah,
here.
Jeff, I'll surprise you and ask a different question. Can we get this information on the website? So we have a chance of digesting the structure of our committees and all that kind of stuff?
Sure.
I think people would be interested in being able to actually see it.
Yeah, well, and I can email it to you as well, if you like. We could email you this little slideshow.
Yeah, very good. I wish we had more time, but thank you, Jeff, for a great presentation. Next week, our speaker is gonna be the Methodist pastor Logan Robertson, who runs the downtown homeless shelter called program called After Hours. So a lot of you know him already. Meets in bars and serves the homeless. So he'll tell us all about downtown service. I don't know. Yeah. Thanks for coming. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye, Dad.
From Steve, with a link. Click on the link.
And the link.